What's going on, DFS Army? Let's talk a little showdown. No, went over first look of the games tomorrow, but I figured there's some big money to be won in the Dallas at Clippers showdown. And I think it'll be a fun one. We kind of know where all the scorings come from. So on FanDuel, we might have another big chop. On DraftKings, you can get a little different usually, but let's dive into this thing, man. It should be fun. All right. FanDuel, $5.55 entry, $20K up top. Now we're in the playoffs, man. We're going to see some of these bigger and bigger showdown slates. Now, of course, Saturday we saw massive 100K up top, and we'll start seeing those more when it gets down to one or two games where we have the massive six figures up top. It'll be a little interesting this year because we're having NBA kind of flow into NBA season, but NFL season. But I still think we're going to see some massive GPPs for the showdowns as we get. But still, 20K is nothing to sneeze at here. This should be one of the better games of tomorrow, and we kind of know where the scoring is going to go. Over here at FanDuel, we know it's all, price doesn't change. It's not like DraftKings where that captain is going to hinder your lineup construction. Here, it's just raw points. So we're looking at raw points, and we know where the scoring is going to come out of both of these teams, raw points-wise. It's going to be total of two people on Dallas in Luka and Porzingis. And on the Clippers, it's going to go from Kawhi, Paul George, and Lou Williams. Those guys are going to be the top five scores on the slate, probably 9 out of 10 times. Maybe Lou Williams struggles a little bit, or Kawhi struggles on the Clippers, and they get some crazy Reggie Jackson, or Zubac might have a big game. But generally, no, it's going to be with Lou Williams healthy. And Harrell we could probably put in later, but with him just coming back and probably he's going to get cleared and probably playing 11-5 is almost a fade for me. Especially up at the MVP star and pro level. So I think you just take those five guys and you mix and match them up here at top. I really do. I don't think you throw anyone else up there. I think you just stick with those five guys. And like even Lou Williams, I don't think he's going to be the MVP, but I think he could be star or pro. So maybe it's the four guys up at MVP, and then it cranks down your pool even more. So I would look at the MVP, if you're going on the Dallas side, I kind of feel like it's going to be a Porzingis game. I have no problem playing Luka up there. Luka's got massive upside, but you save $2,500. So there's a few ways you can go about this. If you throw him up there and we don't go, we don't play Luka, we have a little bit more money in the utility. So, say if we do play Luka up at MVP, we throw a Paul George in there and maybe a Lou Williams. Leaves us 10-5 left. So, you can even throw in a Porzingis, which, again, if we're looking at just raw points, it's probably something like this. And you still got 9K left. You can easily throw in Lou. 7,500 left in this lineup where you're playing four of the five studs, even with Luka. And then you're looking at a Seth Curry, which I really like. Reggie Jackson. Those would be the two guys I would look at throwing in this lineup. It'd probably be extremely popular build. You're not going to get different here. Leaving money on the table. Coming down. Really nobody. Trey Burke, maybe. Maybe you want to look at him or DeLon Wright. Maybe JJ gets some more run here in the playoffs. We could see something like that, something a little different. But for the most part, that's how it's gonna be. But let's do something a little different. Throw maybe Porzingis up here at the MVP. Say Paul George there. Say Luka's struggling and it's Kawhi, Paul George, and Lou Will. Then we have 8-5 left, and then we can throw in DFS Finney-Smith here at 8,500. And again, these will be very popular builds. It will not surprise me one bit on FanDuel if someone chops it. It's just getting these top three right. And again, I think with the scoring so condensed and you know where it's going to be, it's not going to be that difficult to build. If you're building 150 lineups, you're probably going to chop this thing if you go that strategy. If you think Lou Williams is going to go nuclear and put a 60 spot up or something, which I don't expect it to, but that's how you'd get different. Throw him up at MVP. But like I said, generally, I think these are the guys that are going to be up there, and you can play them there's so many ways you can go about this. Say Porzingis is Luka, do you throw Kawhi in there? Put Lou Will in, you got 5 left. You can't do that. But I'd rather play Paul George over Kawhi anyways. Lou Will, still 7,500 left. So there's different ways to go about this. I think that's the build you're going to look at. I like Porzingis as my MVP. I have no problem throwing Luke up there. No problem throwing Paul George. I think it's just kind of splitting hairs at that point. Where do you think the scoring is going to come from? But I would kind of lean Porzingis. It's a playoff, so Kawhi Leonard's actually going to play basketball every day. We'd hope. So maybe throw him up there. But again, those 5 guys, roll them around. Maybe Lou Williams, you keep him down into the star and pro level. And then your cheap guys, I wouldn't even mess around with Marcus Morris or Maxi Kleba too much. It's basically going to be DFS, Reggie Jackson. If you want to get different, Burke, JaMychal Green, maybe something like that. But pretty easy build for me here. It just sucks when you split it, and if you max it and throw 150 lineups in there, you might not even be profitable. So this might be one of the lineups where I limit my pool down completely and run just 50 in this if you're going to play, just because there's only so many ways to be different in this. So that's kind of why I like DraftKings format a little bit better. So let's head on over to DraftKings. And with DraftKings, as you know, the salary 1.5 times up at Captain. And you got to get a little bit different here. So Luke is 12-6 in the utility spot over here on DraftKings. Now this contest, again, $50K up top, a little bit bigger, $15 entry to get into this. DraftKings tends to cater to little higher buy-ins, but you can get a lot different here, and the split's usually a lot less on DraftKings. So I prefer playing DraftKings to FanDuel in these, but to each their own. Now, if we're going to fit a lot of these guys, we think they're going to score a bunch, like Luka, Kawhi Leonard at 11.6, Porzingis at 10K. That's 3 guys over 5 figures. It's hard to fit in those guys. Paul George 9.6, Lou Williams 8,200. All those guys are extremely expensive. So to fit in guys like this, you're really going to have to pay down or leave 1 or 2 of those guys off if you go up at Captain. So let's look a little bit down here to see, like I said, 7,800 for Harrell. We got to see what Doc Rivers is going to say. Don't think he's going to play heavy minutes just coming back, his first game back in the bubble when he gets cleared. So he's just kind of a complete fade for me right now until he gets a couple games under his belt. He's a high energy guy, and that high motor, man, he could run out of gas really quick. Tim Hardaway, again, no problem playing him. Finney Smith at 6'2", seems a little expensive. Zubac at 5K. Again, he could play some bigger minutes here if Harrell doesn't have full minutes, and they need that. So I don't mind taking a chance at a Zubac up at Captain. Seth Curry can always get hot. This cat can absolutely shoot the lights out. So, if he has one of these games where stay down here where you're putting up 34, 37, 46. Again, so if we go back and look at some of those games, I'm sure we have Luka and those guys are out. But if my thought process in playing a Captain that's cheap is I need him to get me at least 30 points, and the rest of those expensive guys need to put up around 50 or something for it to actually work out. So let's look at this. Let's put and just see what it looks like. Let's throw in a Seth Curry at Captain, and then at utility, Let's see how many of these guys we can fit in. So we want a Lou Will, Paul George. We want to come back with Porzingis. We throw in Luka. So we have 4 out of our 5 going cheap route. So we had to leave off Kawhi Leonard at 11.6. And we have 3,600 left. And this basically leaves us with about one guy that I would trust throwing in here. I guess we got Jermichael Green down here at 1,600. And he could get a little run, so I don't mind that. Let's see here. Yeah. 3-6. Trey Burke. You know, he might see 17, 18 minutes. You throw him in that last spot with Seth Curry, your captain. You can still play those guys. If you say you didn't want to go Luka and put Kawhi in that last spot, he gets 4,600. Gives you a few more options in Maxi Kleber or Jackson. So you're in that 3 range. Don't play Boban. Boban's not going to play a ton of minutes. And then all these young guys down here are not going to play anything. So let me see what I got Jermichael Green at. Because he could be interesting. Got him around 14 minutes. So maybe this is the case where you could take out Lou Will, throw in Luka. Now, see, you can't throw in Luka. That ain't going to work. But maybe you take out Paul George and throw in Williams. It gives you 1,600. Then you can look at a Jermichael Green that way with Seth Curry up top. Or let's clear it out. The thing is you can't punt with like a Jermichael Green unless he's going to get you 30. And I don't see this cat getting you 30 fantasy points in this matchup. So in 18 minutes, he put up 20 fantasy points against Dallas in the bubble on the 6th. Again, I think that Harrell thing's going to screw things up a little bit. If you think he has a chance at 30 fantasy points and all these other guys are going to go off, maybe he's like a 1 or 2% captain for you. What's up, Aaron Head? How's life treating you, man? And then you can throw in a Luka, Kawhi, Porzingis, Paul George. You could throw all 4 of those expensive guys in, and then maybe a Trey Burke or Jackson. But if we have to pick an expensive guy, right? We think Luka's going to go absolutely nuclear. Let's see if we try to build a lineup like that. You know, he'd have to put up, for his price, he'd have to put up like an 80 burger for me to love to put him in there, 70 or 80 points. But it really handcuffs you, especially with the scoring here of where we know the scoring is going to come from, and it's going to come from those 5 guys generally in this matchup, especially in the playoffs. It really handcuffs you. You only got $6,200 in salary left when you put Luka up at captain. So there's not a lot of love down here that's going to get you there, I think. You know, say you put Zubac in there at 5K, then we're up here and like, okay, well, maybe a Finney Smith, and then Lou Will. It just, I hate it. I don't think I'll run him at captain, you know. You put Paul George in there, so you got Luka at captain, Zubac, Finney Smith, Lou Williams, Paul George with 2,100 left. And again, we talk about Jermichael Green at 1,600, about as low as I would go. It's just horrible. I hate that build. I feel way more comfortable putting up a cheap guy on this for some reason here at DraftKings. Let's just go look at Lou Williams because he can put up 40, 50 points. It leaves you 7,500 left if we put Lou Williams up at captain. Aaronhead says, excited for tomorrow. Sportsbooks become legal in Colorado a few months ago, so that on top of DFS has been nice. Yes, it has, man. Here in Indiana, we have sportsbooks legal, and it's fantastic. Hope you watch that prop bet video. I hope we can hit some of those tomorrow. Pretty excited about it, man. So Lou Williams up top, got 7,500 on average left, and then we're in the same situation. Let's say we put Zubac in there, Seth Curry, leaves us 95, maybe a Paul George. We throw Porzingis in. Maybe we can fit a Kawhi Leonard if we take out Zubac. We have Seth Curry, 2,500 left. Maybe then we can look at a Jermichael Green. If Harrell is back, I don't think Noah's going to see a bunch of run. So, you know, that's the worry about playing Noah at all. But maybe he plays a little bit in the playoffs. But if Harrell's back, I think he's just kind of you know, he's more there if someone gets hurt, break glass kind of thing. But yeah, even this, where you have Lou Williams up top, Kawhi, Porzingis, Paul George, Curry. You fit in 4 of the 5 in. So you can kind of make this work. So what if we did throw a JaMychal Green in here, and then we put Luka? See, we're even 100 short going this route. You'd have to go Lou Williams up type, JaMychal Green. Look at a Trey Burke or Jackson with Luka, Porzingis, Paul George. There's different ways you can go that route. So even putting Lou Williams up there, I think with the lineup construction and how it's going and how expensive everyone is here at DraftKings, it's going to be extremely hard to pay up for these 10K guys and actually really love your lineup. So I'm leaning more on the Seth Curry types, maybe Zubac. That's where I would lean. If we do get Beverly to sit, maybe Reggie Jackson plays in the mid-20s and he's cheap. He's right there below Seth Curry at 3,800. So he's a guy that you can maybe look at. Marcus Morris, he's going to see 30 minutes, but he's not going to be shooting the ball like when Lou Williams is in there. So again, I kind of like this punt and hope, Seth Curry's probably my favorite captain looking at this and building this. So that's kind of how lineup construction is going. I don't know. I don't think I would spend up here. Really don't, because I think all these guys have some big games in them. And with Luka's price up there, it makes me almost feel like I don't want him if I think Porzingis is going to go off. He's a $1,600 cheaper. So, like I said, we'll go back to that last build where I had Seth Curry up there, and then Lou Williams, Paul George, Porzingis, Kawhi Leonard, and it leaves you 4,600 left for a Kleba or Jackson or Burke. I think that's probably one of my favorite lineups. You could always put Zubac up at captain. And then you have, JaMychal Green, or that's about it because there's really nothing here. Shamit's questionable. So I think you're going to live down in this range, man. I hate to say it, Put Reggie Jackson up there, you got 4,900. So then maybe put Kleba if you didn't want to play Seth Curry. He's so shot dependent, but I think Seth Curry is going to be important in this game for his shots to hit. So that's how I see lineup construction going for both FanDuel and DraftKings for this. Pretty nice for having a 4-game full slate and having 50K up top on DraftKings and 20K up top FanDuel. I think this is one of the better showdowns. Again, a nightcap. So if your lineups aren't going that great, it's always nice to jump in a little showdown and have a little nightcap. So hope this helps. Hope to see somewhere DFS Army take some money down if you're not a part of DFS Army. I really encourage you to come over and check us out. Use promo code Cashkeg. Save yourself 20% off. Cheat sheets will be up for the 4-gamer. We'll go in there. I'm going to do another video, talk a little bit lineup construction tomorrow, and we'll keep plugging away, man. Again, if you're not DFS Army member, love to have you. Deuces.